Well, hello fellow adventurers, and welcome back to Living the Grand Adventure. I'm Kevin, and today I've taken a road trip over into Indiana, and I'm hiking near the Brookville Reservoir Lake near Brookville, Indiana. I was actually looking to do what's called the Adena Trace Loop. Unfortunately, I can't do that because the northern area of that loop is a causeway that actually goes across the lake itself. It's called Fairfield Causeway. They have that shut down for repairs right now, and you can't go across it. And that's actually the northern 0.5 miles roughly across the lake, part of the loop. So what I've decided to do, I already had this trip planned and really wanted to come out and check it out, is I parked at the Midway Trailhead, and I'm going to hike in over here to what's called the Wolf Creek Trail. It's on the western edge of the lake. It's actually the western part of the loop. And I'm just going to go in and camp overnight. I may stay two, but probably looking at just one night due to weather and stuff at home. But just kind of wanted to get out and check out this area. For future reference, I can come back and do the Adena Trace Loop. It's actually a 26.5 mile loop. And that would be pretty good conditioning come next spring, because by then they should have the causeway open. In fact, they should actually have it open this month, and that'll be kind of neat. But so far this trail looks pretty good, and I'm probably looking between today and tomorrow maybe doing 5-6 total miles. It's not going to be a lot because I'm looking to do more camping, because we're going to have some winter-like temperatures tonight, mid-30s, low 30s. And just looking to build a fire and just kind of relax. Just trying to get out before it goes really good and cold and you start seeing snow, where I'm not going to be able to do pretty much any miles. Maybe 2 miles in, camp, half a mile in and camp, things like that. And so, like I said, this is kind of more of like a scouting expedition to see what I think about the area and what I might want to do next spring as far as starting to get some longer miles for trails. This one is kind of neat because it actually is a little bit closer to home too. So less than a 2-hour drive. So short of Germantown and East Fork, this is actually the closest area that I can backpack. So that's one reason I'm kind of giving it a shot. And we're going to take a look at Wolf Creek Trail, guys, here at Brookville Reservoir. I'm about 1.2 miles in. I don't have too far to go to actually get to the Wolf Creek Trail, and I have got my first glimpses of Brookville Lake, guys. It's pretty neat. I don't know how well to show up through the trees, but it's right over there. And now it looks like we're going to make our way down maybe a few switchbacks and get down next to the lake, which is probably where I'm camping for the night, somewhere down there. Supposedly there's multiple hiker-made sites along the trail, so probably the first decent one I see, I'm just gonna go ahead and take, get set up. Depending on what time it is, but at that point in time I'm either gonna start processing some wood for fire, or I'll go ahead and get a little lunch. Where it only took 2 hours to drive down here. It wasn't even quite 2 hours, like an hour and 48 minutes. And I had breakfast on the road here. Not really hungry yet, guys, so may hold off and get set up and get some wood done, and then eat, and then finish up the wood, and then be settled in for the night. Yeah, now they rate these series of trails as hard. So far it hasn't been too hard, but I am coming down, you can tell, I'm gonna come down this elevation here to the lake. Coming back out of that could be interesting. That'll be a little strenuous, but that'll be the, like midday tomorrow. Because like I said, this was just kind of to get out and just have a little trip here at the beginning of November and try out some nice cooler temperatures and just relax and have fun. Looks like I've got a sign actually coming up here. I haven't seen much wildlife. A couple of squirrels, that's about it. Heard a couple of ravens off in the distance. The trail actually walks beside private property for a good portion of the way until you get over towards the reservoir, like literally on the edge of cornfields. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, no, this hasn't been a very strenuous hike at all. Like I said, coming back out will be worse because I do have to come up this incline here. But once I'm up top, it's pretty much flat. I mean, there's a couple up and downs, but you're talking maybe 15, 20 feet elevation and then 20 feet declination. Well, it's a boat out on the lake. It's kind of neat. Probably maybe somebody fishing or something. I wouldn't think they're swimming right now. All right, so let's see what this sign says here. Midway Trail to Keeler Road parking lot. So I've actually been 2.2 miles. I didn't realize I'd gone that far. And I've only been on trail about 40 minutes. So that tells you how, yeah, it's pretty easy trail getting up there, guys. But this is what it's looked like for the most part. Now, their website does say that because of the remoteness and the ruggedness and everything in the area, that these trails are a little bit overgrown and such. I mean, they may be overgrown in the summer because, I mean, it is pretty much good in mid-fall now. But this has been a lot nicer trail than the North Loop at Zaleski. That loop was a little rough, I'm not gonna lie. And like what I said in the last few videos that I posted dealing with the North Loop there at Zaleski and that solo trip I had a couple of weeks ago, you know, it was overgrown, real bad maintenance really. And I mean, I know they're working on it, but for right now it's pretty rough. This, I mean, they give warnings for it being rough, and this has been nothing. Of course, they say the Wolf Creek Trail is the worst area as far as the overgrown and just an area where there are a lot of down trees and such. But I'm not really probably gonna hike a lot on that trail. So this is what this area looks kind of like. Just a standard deciduous forest, pretty clear. Most of the undergrowth is dead, so it's wide open. And I'm basically down that elevation loss, down that declination. And it looks like we're actually going to get a pretty good view of the lake here in just a second, guys. Yeah, it looks like we're actually coming up on the Wolf Creek Trail. I believe that's what the signs want to say. Oh, and there's the lake. Awesome. Let's look first at the sign. So it's 2.2 miles from here back to the parking lot. So I just did 2.2 miles in about 40 minutes, guys. That's pretty cool. And trail continues south that way and north this way. We're going north because I'm gonna hike up next to one of these two creeks that's up this direction. But wow. So I come down the other side over there, across the way, and I circled around kind of like an inlet over there. And I've been looking for a campsite now for about 30 minutes, and I haven't seen any hiker made sites yet. And nor have I really seen anywhere to make a site. It's all been very similar to this, very crowded trail, and lots of overgrowth, you know, just everything's dead. There was a division back there, I believe it was like an ATV trail. I walked out it about 1/10 of a mile just to see if maybe there was a site, and I kind of come to an area where I'm pretty sure it's private property, so of course I turned around and come back this direction. And like I said, I just have not seen anything anywhere to make a site. Like I told you guys, I really wasn't looking to do a lot of hiking today. Let's see which way this trail goes. It goes over here. This little trail up there. Of course, it's not near water, so even if there is a campsite, I really don't want it. Now that right there may be wet in the spring, but not right now. And I do only have just over a liter of water right now. So, oh, trail goes this way. So I need to definitely be somewhere where I can get water kind of easily, so I can filter something up for tomorrow morning. At least I am coming up into an area now where the lake isn't dry. Because there was actually a spot back there I could have made a site, but the lake had dried out so far I couldn't really get to it. You know, there was a couple of sandbars. I tested those and they were just kind of mushy. And I figured the further I got out towards the water, the more likely that would have turned very quickly from mush to quicksand almost. And I really didn't want to be ankle or knee deep in sand. But this is what the trail looks like now. It's still not really that bad. I could see in the summer it being overgrown, but this time of year it's not bad at all. And not a lot of blown over trees. Nothing like Zaleski was. And no huge elevation gains. There was a section over on the other side when I was coming down, well actually up and down kind of, that was just doing just enough elevation gain to keep me out of breath. I'd go down, get flat for about 10 feet, then go up 20 feet. Flat for about 5 feet, down 20 feet. And it was just enough to keep me short of breath. So that kind of stunk. But this side for the most part has been kind of flat, just woods walking. The ground is uneven. That's one thing, but you know, for a trail that isn't heavily maintained, I'm not going to complain. It's like an ATV trail. Let's see. The actual trail goes up this way, back on up the mountain here. I think what I'm gonna do next time I see water supply, just gonna go ahead and grab some, and then look for a place to actually just throw down the tent. I mean, even if it's not a pre-made site, I'll make do. I'll figure out how to do a fire ring, make my own site. It's another thing I've noticed here, this particular forest, there's not a lot of rocks. So making a fire ring, I'd have to probably do it by mounded dirt or larger logs around it. Don't think I'm gonna be able to do rocks, guys. Well, I've made it to site, guys. I was coming down the trail right through here after crossing this creek. Pretty nasty up and down out of the bank here, if you can tell. I mean, this is my access to water right now, and that's not too bad, but over here it's pretty rough when I come up onto the trail. The trail continues out that way, and I just come up on this. You know, little picnic table sitting here, a decent fire ring, access to water, just enough room for the monger. I said, yeah, I'm taking it. I've already located a couple places where I'm gonna get some firewood. I threw the monger up as soon as I got here because it's clouded over, and I actually felt a couple drops of water, and I was afraid it was going to rain on me, so I wanted to get that up as fast as possible so I could get my equipment in there. But now the sun's starting to come back out, so I'm not feeling quite as rushed. Figure I'd show you guys where I've camped up at. Let me take a look at all trails. I know I hiked a little bit further than I had planned today. It's not too awful bad though. About 4.5 miles in, give or take a tenth of a mile. because I pretty much stayed on trail the whole time. I got off trail about 15 feet, and then I turned around and knew exactly where I was going. I just missed the blaze. So right on spot on like 4.5 miles. It was up, and this was rushing in the spring and everything. This would be kind of a really, really nice site, because if you can tell, more than likely that water comes to here. Now, I have noticed there are some prints down there. I'm gonna go take a good look at those. I kind of see some dog prints over here, but that could be coyote as well. And I'm gonna see what other prints I see like right through here. That's kind of interesting, because I'm pretty sure that, of course, this is the Wolf Creek Trail. It goes out that way, but there's also right here beside where my tent's at, there is like a trail there. I don't know if that's a game trail or if that's just an offshoot of this. Maybe there's a campsite up there. I thought about hiking up there just to see if maybe there was one. That's a game trail. It could be interesting, because I may have visitors throughout the night coming down to get water, and then they see my tent and they'll either bug out or just say, I'm coming past it. But that's actually literally the only spot in this campsite that I could get the tent. And I did kind of cut some of that brush up that's underneath it down. Someone's had a tent there recently, because some of that was already mashed down and it had just slowly started standing back up. So either that or something laid down right there. I mean, it could have been a deer maybe sunning itself. And like I said, obviously there are people here occasionally. Yeah, the fire pit doesn't look like it's been used probably in the last little bit. I mean, if you notice, there's actually stuff growing out of it, but it's been used before, so I'm taking it. I didn't feel like hiking anymore today, because honestly, literally, if I'd went out this direction another mile and a half, I'd have been to the causeway, and there's nothing you can hike past that. So it's one of the reasons I was like, well, I'm pretty much out of trails. So, and this was the closest I knew I was going to get to water, so I took it. And hopefully it'll be a good night. I got me a few new toys. Picked up a new saw Jenny's been trying to get me to get. It's the spin saw. It's really awesome. It's a folding bow saw. Basically folds in on itself, but you know, the length of this right here, a little bit longer. I'll show you how it looks like when it's folded up, but I've been using it for a few minutes, and man, it eats through wood like you wouldn't believe. I mean, my Baco, the little folding saw that you've seen before, it's a really nice saw. Really lightweight, but this actually weighs less, and man, it just goes through it. Got some branches over here I guess someone had taken down and just laying. I've started cutting on them. I wanted to test it out before I got it on camera. I'll show you what it does, guys. Yeah, this is definitely something someone actually took down. It didn't even sharpen to the point. Maybe, I don't know, zombie apocalypse maybe? Vampires? I'm not sure. But yeah, they sharpened it down, but I'm going to use it for firewood, guys. So I'm just been kind of use this table. I've got it. Not cutting the table, but cutting right on the side here. And this is the biggest branch I've cut yet, so we'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, I mean, that and easy, just smooth like butter. I mean, I'm not even breaking a sweat doing this, so it's pretty awesome, guys. Definitely worth the money. I spent regular price is $37 on Amazon. I got $10 off, so I got it roughly, I think with taxes it was about $27, $28. Man, this is nice. They do, this is the 15-inch version. They do make a little bit longer one. I think it's a 21-inch. I wanted something smaller, because I don't build very large fires on trails, so. And this seems to be doing the trick. Yeah, minimal effort, guys. I mean, like I said, I'm not even really breaking the sweat, and it's eating this wood up. So, I mean, I've already got a nice size pile already started, and I've only been going less than 10 minutes. So. Right through it, guys. It's pretty nice. It's good wood too. It'll burn pretty good tonight. Yeah, so let me show you what I've done. Like I said, I've worked right at 10 minutes now, and I've already got that much wood. And that included finding some of it, so yeah, I'm definitely impressed. So yeah, guys, another little toy I got. New little thing. Finally got me a Toke's titanium pot. It's the 550 milliliters. So it's about half the size what I've been carrying and quite a bit less weight. I like my GSI boiler, but for solo trips, this is all I need. I mean, literally, my lunch, I need 1 cup of water. That's double this. This is 16 ounces. So, you know, being out here by myself, there is absolutely no reason I should be carrying a liter bottle. You know, if it was a group of us like we've done here recently, or like say Jenny and I and Lexi all come out or something like that, yeah, I would probably still carry the liter container. But just by myself, or even if it's just me and Lexi, more than likely I'll be carrying this Toke's with me. It's so much lighter. And once I can get a 110 canister versus the 220, because I literally got this 3 days ago, and I haven't had a chance to order one of the smaller canisters. But once I can, man, because it'll fit down in this, down inside the Toke's itself, and it'll just open up so much room in my pack. It'll make everything so much lighter. Can't wait. This is the first time I've used it, so we're going to see how it boils. Should boil really quickly. Titanium's really conducive for heat, like this type of heat right here especially. And I mean, literally, I'm not carrying half the stuff I'm normally carrying inside this little thing. I didn't even bring my cup this time because that's going to double as my cup this trip, for if I want tea or something in the morning, or if I decide to actually have some with dinner, which is possible. I've been watching the weather. It's clouded over really bad. I checked the weather at Brookville, which is like 2 miles from here. They're not calling for rain until about midnight, and even then it's just a couple little showers here and there. But I've kind of got a lot of stuff moved into the tent just in case if it would happen to come in. I did feel a few drops 2 or 3 different times now, but did filter some water. I actually have about 2.5 liters, and I do have a liter of water in my bladder over there, so I've got enough water definitely for the night, probably for the morning. It's kind of difficult to actually filter water right here. I didn't realize it, but it's really muddy, and right at the water's edge, you want to drop down into the mud. I didn't get my feet wet, but I'm muddy, so yeah, looks like the Toke's is going to do us good, guys. So yeah, I was talking about this fin saw. Yeah, I really like this saw. About an hour, I've got as much wood as I had Mohican. So, I mean, it worked really well. I've got some split up, got some smaller sticks, and I actually have pretty nice sized logs. I mean, we're talking, I would say 6 to 7 inches in diameter. So, definitely does the job. And literally it just folds up like that. And I put it on the side of my pack because some of the edges are a little rough. What I'm going to do when I get home is take a file to the edges, trying to soften them down just a little bit, so I don't run the risk of puncturing or tearing a hole in the tent or a sleeping bag or anything for that matter. Maybe a water bladder. Get out here and not have a way to filter water, that would not be good. But that's literally it right there. And like I said, I just slide it down the side of my pack on the outside. And right now I'm actually using this rag, which is actually in rough shape because like I said, it was pretty muddy down there trying to get water. But I kind of put this over the rough edge and slide it down in there. This isn't too bad up here, but this aluminum down here, especially on the very end, it's a little rough. And then you've got that bolt there too, so figure better safe than sorry. Didn't want anything to get tore up, but yeah, that's awesome. I'm probably going to do a nice review on this too, but just a quick overview. It tore up the wood, man. It was pretty awesome. I've got all the firewood processed up that I want to do for the night. Sun goes down about 6. I think it's actually about 10 to 6. I'll probably start the fire right about then. I'll just burn whatever wood I've got, and then I'll get in the tent because it's supposed to get pretty cool tonight, probably in the mid 30s. I do have my hike and bike cocoon that I normally use with my hammock. We'll try it out as a sleeping bag, see how it does. I'm sure I'll be comfortable in it. This is the amount of firewood I have, so I mean, I'm probably good for 4 or 5 hours, no problem. And with all this overgrowth right here on the beside it, everything like that, right over in here, I don't want to risk building a very large fire and having some embers get into that because it could catch pretty easily. It's pretty dry, so I'm gonna keep that fire pretty small. Just not build it too big. That's why I'm figuring that wood will last me at least 4 hours. One of my other new toys, I did mention this, the Knock, I believe it is, or Knock, but it's an outdoor products. It's a company that makes these bladders. This bladder is awesome. It's a 3-liter bladder. It actually opens up at the top. You just squeeze it and it opens up, and you can dip the water straight out, almost like it's a cup. Man, that's been great. Didn't get to use it quite the way I wanted to because this water is so shallow. I was only able to get about a liter at a time. It only has to come up to about here. If I could have got closer to the lake, I could have filled it all the way up. It actually will act as a gravity filter. And the next time I go out and actually can fill that thing up, I'll show you how I do that. It'd be pretty awesome. The most I was able to get into it was a liter, and I'm like, I just filter it, hand filter it. May even have enough to do breakfast, which would be really awesome because I'm going back out this way I came. Once I get across this creek, there's another creek over there that would provide a lot easier place to filter water. I was hoping to find a campsite over there. There was a potential spot, but it was kind of muddy, and I was like, nah, I don't want to get the Monger too wet, especially with it supposed to be raining tonight. So I kind of just backed off that and come on over here. And yeah, I mean, when I walked up on a picnic table and a ready-made fire pit, I'm like, okay, we good. So I took it. I've got most of the camp chores done now. It is 4:18, so I still have an hour and like a half before I even have to start worrying about fire or dark or anything like that. And then I'm gonna find a place to hang my bear bag, and that's about all I've got left to do before it gets dark and we kind of get the fire going and just kind of settle in for the night. We'll do some dinner, normal time, probably about 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that. And then, we'll just relax and enjoy the night. It would be really awesome if it wasn't cloudy, because right here, man, I bet you I could see the stars for days. I mean, it would be awesome. Because, I mean, the sky is completely open here. This is the area I'm kind of camping in. Kind of flat right here in the middle of the valley, right beside this creek. This creek, probably in the spring and summer, would be completely full. And that would be kind of neat to see, because it is dried out right now. But not too worried about it, I was able to get water. But yeah, coming right down through here, I happened up on that picnic table. I was like, okay. And more importantly, the fire ring. Because I was actually prepared to actually go ahead and build my own. You see right over in here all these plants and such. I really don't want to get the fire too big. And this is kind of interesting too. These larger logs right here, that saw actually went through those. And I do believe I could actually probably go maybe 2 more inches bigger than that. That would be pushing it a little bit. Those were okay until it got kind of down to where you were almost all the way through it, and it was kind of getting tight in the triangle itself, at the very top of that triangle that the saw makes. So they got a little tight. I wouldn't get as much lateral movement with the saw on those pieces of wood, but I was able to get those. So, that size definitely, and I think literally probably at least another inch I could probably go. But after that, I think that would be about the limits of the size of that saw. But it'd be kind of cool. I'm gonna test it out, and then when I go out next time and really get some big logs and see what's going on. Yeah, see that sun's already kind of dipping down behind that mountain already. As predicted, it's about 10 to 6. It's starting to get a little dark. I did catch a brief shower. I had to jump in the tent for about 20 minutes. It didn't rain a lot, but it was enough that I was afraid that if it would have continued coming in, I would get damp. And with the temperature supposed to be getting as cold as they are tonight, I didn't want to get wet at all. So I just hopped in there, kind of waited it out. It's still a small drizzle. Occasionally I feel a drop, but it's not enough to get me wet now. And I did climb back out to get a fire going. Like I said, we're going to keep it kind of small because of the tight confinement of this campsite, but that's okay. Really hope the rain holds off at least till a little bit later, because I like doing the fire sitting around the fire and kind of relaxing. I did kind of pull out just basically my food stuff. Everything else is still in the tent. And kind of talked to Jenny a little bit on her way home, like I always do. I really enjoy that, like when she calls me and I can get, especially if I've got signal, which I generally have on all of my solos, so it's been kind of cool. But just kind of talked to her a little bit on her way home and checked in on her and the kids, made sure they're good, which they are. Everybody seemed to have a good day. It will be pretty much dark here in about 20 minutes. I mean, we're at the twilight hours now. Sun actually went down at 5:35. I didn't realize it was that early. So, yeah, when I noticed it had quit raining, I hopped out. Literally, I think it was 5:40, and I said, I've got to get this fire going before it gets too dark. So, it's going. Going to keep it small, keep it simple. Probably have dinner here in about an hour and a half. I do have that first twinge of hunger, but I don't want to eat just yet. That way it'll sustain me throughout the night until tomorrow morning. I do have a couple of, well, one's a pepperoni stick and the other's a beef stick that Jenny bought me that I could snack on. I'm probably going to try the beef stick, because I had a pepperoni stick already. She bought it, one for herself, and didn't really care for it, so I basically got it from her. And yeah, it's really good, so I think I'm gonna try the beef stick tonight. It's about 6:30. It's gotten pretty dark. Yeah, got a nice fire going though. Let's see if I can get it in the frame. Yeah, not too bad. It's really quiet in the woods. I mean, there's a few crickets. I've heard a couple of birds since it got dark, but for the most part, real quiet. It's still trying to sprinkle a little bit here and there. I'm getting an occasional drizzle, trying to make sure I don't get too wet, checking my shirt and stuff. So far I'm okay. I do have a whole nother layer to put on if I would get even chillier. It's kind of comfortable right now though, so not too worried about that. Was on the phone with Jenny and the kids for about an hour, really, just talking to them. I mean, there's not much to do once you're sitting around the fire and everything, and if I've got signal, I might as well call them and talk to them. I've got plenty of battery bank and stuff, so. But yeah, I'm just going to try to enjoy this for a few more minutes, probably get dinner here in about 30-40 minutes. So far, a pretty good night, really relaxing after I've got, all this stuff done. I just wish the rain would just kind of move out and just quit kind of sprinkling on me. It'd be kind of nice, because then I could just sit back and relax and enjoy the fire. I still probably have, I lit the fire about an hour ago, and I still probably have about 3.5, 4 hours worth of firewood, which works great. That'll put it about 10:30, getting ready to go out and just kind of dying down to embers. I'll make sure it's kind of out pretty decent and then head to bed, which would be cool. A little after 7, about 15 after 7 actually. Probably going to do dinner here shortly. Like I said, I talked to Jan a little bit, and then I started an audio book that I actually picked up. It's actually a book I've never read myself. Turn that off, or at least, yeah, we'll put it down. I've read Lord of the Rings, but never read The Hobbit. So I thought, hey, that's kind of cool. I had a couple of free credits on Audible. I figure I'd pick it up. Anyway, it has quit raining for right now. I built the fire up a little bit. It's kind of petering around. It's gotten damp, but the rain has passed for right now. I did look at the weather. It is supposed to come back in on me, so once it does, I'll probably be in the tent. Right now, the moon is actually trying to peek out. It's really cool. If I can get a little bit of video of that, I'll put it in. I don't know how it's going to look because it's really behind the clouds pretty heavily. But like I said, it's right at 7:15 now. So I'm probably getting ready to do dinner. Probably gonna give it till about 7:30, because if I do it at 7:30 and then I'm eating maybe that beef stick or whatever at about 9:30, that should carry me through the morning till the morning, when I can get my oatmeal and stuff and be ready to pound out some mileage and figure out what we're going to do for the day, guys. I did come up with the idea in the past couple of videos, whatever, of asking a question of you guys every night that I do stay over. So I think I'm going to go ahead and we're going to tackle that question right now. So my question for you guys is, what would be your ideal backpacking trip? Where would it be? And basically, where would it, kind of describe it, where would it be, what season, and would you want to do it solo or with someone else? give it a little bit of detail. I mean, it doesn't have to be super, super detailed, but, you know, just a touch. So for me, ideally, realistically, probably right now, I would like to hike out pretty much anywhere in the Sierra Nevadas, somewhere out on the West Coast somewhere. Get up in the mountains and hike some of those taller mountains out there. That's still going to take some conditioning on my part, and I understand that. And I don't want to really do that solo. I'd like to take Alex with me, and if Jenny could get in enough shape and she could get time off from work, you know, just like me, getting in enough shape, I would like to take her. The three of us would be awesome. Like, hopefully next year, what I'm shooting for is maybe the Triple Crown in Virginia. It's part of the Appalachian Trail. It's three tall mountains in Virginia. Basically just east of where I actually was born, and I would love to actually go out and do those, or at least a portion of those next year. And I would still like to take Alex with me to that. I mean, I would actually, the only place I would ever really like to solo is Shawnee here in Ohio, and that's just because it's an endurance type idea. But I'm not a big solo person. I mean, I'm out here. This is like the third time in the last 6 weeks that I'm doing a solo trip. I don't mind doing solos, but I actually do enjoy having company. You know, I mean, I'm hoping maybe eventually in the community I meet some guys that actually want to go, and I'll hang out with them and hike with them. But for now, I'm soloing and doing it with the family, and I'm, you know, living the grand adventure, guys, and that's all that matters. I'm hoping maybe I can get in the Superior hiking trail up in Michigan. Around, you know, it's near Lake Superior. I do believe, looking at that one probably take me about 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. So that's going to be a little interesting because I would have to have supply drops at different places. It's kind of like hiking one of the through hikes, only it's much shorter. You know, it won't take you that long. But we'll see how those go. But those are the areas I would like to do. But I would love to hear from you guys and see, you know, what backpacking trips you would like to take, or even, you know, if you're not into backpacking, you like watching my videos, but you're more of a car camper. Hey, where else would you like to go? I mean, is there somewhere maybe out, you know, across seas? You know, maybe in Germany, or, you know, I don't know, the Pyrenees in Spain. What, you know, wherever you would like to be. You know, I mean, this is a wish. You know, it doesn't mean it will ever happen, but hey, you know, wishing and thinking about it is the first step to making it happen. That's all part of it. You know, you have to plan and hope and wish and make it happen. Let me know where you guys would like to go, and I'll definitely looking forward to hear from your stories. Also, you know, if you've been somewhere really excellent and you've already done that particular trip, let me know how that turned out for you too, guys. Well, guys, I think I'm in the tent for the night. It's about 9 o'clock. It's raining fairly decent. I mean, it's kind of slacked off right now, but it was raining pretty good earlier. And I got everything kind of gathered up and put in the tent. Stoked the fire. I figured the rain will put it out. I checked the radar and the weather, and yeah, it's not going to let it be anytime soon. Probably not for the next 4 or 5 hours. I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, it's raining pretty good. And yeah, so I just figure I'm in here for the night. Probably do something on the phone. Talk to the wife and kids and let them know, hey, yeah, good night and everything. Kind of sucks. Couldn't avoid the weather. I did check the weather for tomorrow. It's actually supposed to be really sunny, and if nothing happens out tonight, I'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning, adventurers. Back here at the site still. It's about 9 o'clock. I'm getting up a little bit later than I wanted, mainly because it rained the entire night. They were calling for like 40% chance of rain when I first come in here, and you know, literally after midnight it started raining. Probably about 9:30 and didn't let up till almost 7. So everything is really wet. The ground's spongy. Yeah, unfortunately I didn't get to burn a fire too long last night. Put some extra wood on it, hoping that it would quit raining, and it didn't quit. And I basically, just because of the rain and nothing going on, I fell asleep about 10. I woke up back up about 12:30. It was really pouring rain. Kind of hard to sleep when it's coming down like that. So I was actually back up till probably about 3. Then I think I dozed off and slept till about 6:30. Woke up long enough to send a message to Jenny, let her know I was still okay and everything, and then dozed back off until, you know, roughly 8:45. So not the greatest night's sleep, but not bad. It's kind of cool this morning. It says it's my watch says it's 48 degrees. When I got up, it's about 50 degrees now. It's just where it's kind of wet, so because it makes it a little bit cooler. I did see when I woke up and texted Jenny on my watch, it said 37. So it got kind of chilly last night, but didn't get below freezing. I actually got very hot in my sleeping bag, the cocoon. I mean, it is rated at 0 degrees, but they say, you know, if you use it as a sleeping bag, it kind of takes some of that temperature off, so I thought it would be okay. I mean, it's still in 40-degree weather, it's still too hot. So, not sure what I'm going to do with that. Of course, going forward, you know, most of the night temperatures will be probably below freezing shortly. Anyway, I'm going to get some stuff packed up, get some breakfast, and we'll get on the trail, guys. I'm going to give me a spot of breakfast, doing oatmeal like normal, but everything else is packed up. Had to put the rain fly for the tent actually on the outside of my pack. I've got it down in one of those large side pouches, that the mesh pouch on the side of the backpack. So, you know, because I didn't want to get everything inside the pack wet, because it's very damp. I've been kind of spotting around a little bit as I was finishing packing up and while the water's going. Yeah, this is a muddy mess. I mean, this is gonna be fun because, like I said, right down here I do have to go across this whole area. I don't know how that's gonna play out. That's gonna be interesting. It's probably gonna be a lot of muddy feet, guys. It is warming up some, mid 50s, probably low 50s, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to dry it out really well. I mean, the ground, like I said, is still spongy. There's a lot of rain last night. I was really kind of shocked with how long it rained and how much. There were a couple of spots, you know, I would doze off and then it would just come in a really heavy pour and wake me back up. So, like I said, I rested okay, but it wasn't great. It's part of camping. I mean, it happens. I just wasn't expecting that much rain. Well, guys, heading out now. It's about 10:30. That looks like a muddy mess down through there, so that's gonna be interesting. Trail is very soggy, but luckily the plants have kind of dried off some, so I'm not getting extremely damp from them, at least through here. But this is one of the more open areas. When I get back over there, before I start the elevation gain heading back out, it was kind of tight, so I may get wet over there, so that's gonna be interesting. We're just gonna play it by ear and see how the day goes and cross our fingers for the best, guys. But right now, you know, I'm kind of high spirits. It's a beautiful morning. Definitely glad the sun's out. Would have really hated having rain all night last night and then hiking out today in the rain as well. But so far, it's been a good morning. I had dinner last night at like, say, 7:30, 8 o'clock. I was really hungry when I got up, guys. So I ate my oatmeal. And if you remember, I was talking about the beef stick and pepperoni stick that Jenny got me. I went ahead and ate the beef stick as well. I took like a bite of it last night and it started raining, so I just had to throw everything in the bear bag and get it up. So I wasn't able to finish it last night, but I went ahead and ate it today, and yeah, it's pretty good. I definitely enjoyed that. A little bit extra calories here in the morning to get me on trail. Just looking forward to the hike out. It's all fun and games, guys. There is a cool breeze from the north right now. I'm hoping I'll warm up a little bit on trail. I didn't want to add another layer, but right now it is kind of chilly. I'm not gonna lie. I figure I'll start sweating, especially once I hit a couple of these elevation gains, and be kind of comfortable then. Plus, as we get into noon, 2 o'clock, that range, I'm figuring it'll warm up and I won't be quite as chilly, but that breeze is kind of cool. If it continues that up, I may either have to get another layer out or nothing else, get my gloves out. I got a new pair of gloves, wool gloves, that have the fingers and then have like the mitten section that goes across your fingers, because of course, you know, if you have that, it keeps your hands warmer in deep cold. So we'll see. All right, looks like. Okay, so I'm going to put you away. See, this is one of those big drops I was talking about. I was able to come up with no problem, but going down is going to be a little bit different story. Well, guys, we were able to go ahead and get across that water there. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I actually did come down just a little bit further from where I crossed yesterday, because yes, that would have been pretty bad. But I actually found an area where it was more rocks, and I was able to kind of scoot across it pretty easily there. Bottom of my pants are a little damp, shoes are a little damp, and that's not from the water, it's actually from the wet leaves and the undergrowth through here where it did rain last night so much. But I'm doing okay. It's kind of interesting. I passed a hunter just a few minutes ago, and it looked like maybe he'd been trapping and he had him a rabbit. Oh, got a nice view of the lake again. So we're heading back towards that now. I'm about a mile and a half into the hike back out, and trail conditions are okay. It's muddy, it's slick in spots. I'm having to watch my feet, especially on like declines and some inclines, depending on how sharp they are. But the day's still beautiful. I'm really enjoying it. It wasn't something that was like planned like in advance, like a couple of weeks or something. This was just kind of, hey, I've got a couple of days, I'm gonna go down, check out this trail, kind of scout it for next spring. Jenny's like, okay, go have fun. And I grabbed gas, and I have, you know, a few dehydrated meals kind of stored up, just waiting for trips coming up. And you know, it was pretty easy to kind of get it ready. I think I'm ready for a trip where I actually have somebody with me. Yeah, I remember this section from yesterday. All these plants that are associated with lakes. It's interesting. I actually remember this tree going across it. I was kind of like, this is kind of dicey. You actually have part of the tree hanging out of that tree to a point. And of course that part of the tree is on the ground. I'm like, oh, big gust of wind come along right about now. That wouldn't be good, but we're through it. Yeah, I do remember that little section there. Oh, see, this is a little overgrown right through here, guys. Yeah, I remember this. A little creek crossing right here. This is no big deal. It's got a nice little path basically with the rocks right through there. And the water really, for all the rain we had last night, is not as high as I expected. So actually, it's a nice area. I know the other side of the loop, the Adena Trace Loop, was actually supposed to be nicer and actually easier, but also you run the chance of actually having more people around you, and it's not as isolated. So, you know, it's a give and take. Yeah, okay, made it across that. And see, like this stuff right through here, where it's wet, it's kind of slick. Just making sure I have my footing before I actually try to step up. That actually wasn't too bad there, guys. I've had a couple where I've actually slid backwards on it. But yeah, see, this is a little overgrown. And I would think in the summer and spring, this would be a little rough to get through. Like late spring, early, you know, midsummer. But it's not too bad. I mean, I'm handling it. It's a pretty forest. All the tall, straight trees. If they had leaves on them, it'd be pretty cool. Or if it's been like 2-3 weeks ago and the leaves had just, you know, really gotten into full color change, that'd have been nice. But still a pretty awesome, fun day here on the trail, guys. I came up an elevation there, a little bit of an inclination, and I'm up on this ridge, kind of, not at the very top of it, but 3/4 of the way up the hill here. And this is not a bad little area. It's pretty easy walking, pretty flat, and yeah, everything's kind of starting to die off, so you don't have a lot of overgrowth, but it's real pretty. Look at the greens still in some of those bushes and those trees over there. It's pretty awesome. Real nice area, especially here in the sunlight today. It's a little bit warmer, but not much. And occasionally that breeze comes through from the north, and it's a real chilly breeze, guys. I can definitely tell it's gonna be cool tonight here. The ground's still good and wet even up here. I was thinking this might even be drier because it's higher up and get a little bit more wind, but it's still wet. My pants are kind of damp at the bottom. My shoes are kind of wet. Luckily, I don't think it's gone through the waterproof sealant that I put on the shoes, so my feet are still dry, but the shoes are damp. You know, where I was carrying that heavier rain fly where it was wet, I did opt to not carry any extra water. I literally have, well, I started with 24 ounces. One of the 24 ounce, I think it's 24.9 ounce, so basically 25 ounces of water. So about 3/4 of a liter. And that should see me out. I've been sipping on it slowly just to make sure. Slowly starting to move down. Yeah, and the trail gets really tight on some of these declines. Basically because they don't have as much maintenance here, because it is a small group that maintain this. This isn't like, you know, like where some of the state parks where you have DNR guys coming in and stuff. You know, this is, I'll have to look it up. It's the Hoosier something something council, and it's basically, I believe, pretty much just basically private citizens or an actual organization that's probably non-profit that take care of it. I'll put the name up, and if I get a better description, I'll leave it in the comment, you know, the descriptions box below. But you know, they don't probably have as many people that can come out and take care of this trail and do what they need to do, and I don't fault them for that. You know, I mean, if you've got employees you're paying, it's a different story, but with this, you know, this kind of needs dug out a little bit this way to give you more berth to try to get through. And, you know, they probably just don't have the manpower to do that. But yeah, it's still a pretty area. I mean, I'm digging it. I think I will probably definitely come back next spring and do it, and probably do the whole loop because it'll be open then. Lexi actually gets a spring break, I think, in March. Might bring her down and see if she wants to do it. Might do a 2 or 3 night trip, just kind of make it easy as it being our first probably long trip for this year, next year. But I will probably still come back and do this next spring, even if it's just an overnight, kind of like what I did just now, because this is a good trail for conditioning, because there's a lot of up and downs, uneven steps. So you kind of get back into the swing of things. I actually feel really good today. Yeah, let's see if you can see that view there. That's the lake right down there, guys. Down through those trees. So really nice area. Now guys, that kind of gives you an idea of the lake level here in mid-fall heading into winter. It's very, very dry. Not that the trail's dry right now because of the rain, but as far as lake level, yeah, I mean, most of this would be underwater, I would assume, in summer and spring. But right now, yeah, be kind of interesting to maybe camp out there somewhere. I don't know how soggy that would be. Of course, it would have been a mess last night in that rain. But that is kind of neat to see. Now, as you get back over here, going closer to the dam, the water does get a lot deeper. But back this direction, towards the causeway, it was like this the whole way, as you saw. This is the first actual area where you see a little bit more water. So I'm back to that junction where it splits and goes up the Midway trail to the parking lot, or I can head south and find another campsite. It's so tempting, guys. I'd really kind of like to stay the night, but also I'm looking at my pants. I'm wet. I think my socks and feet are wet. I do have a change of socks, but like I said, I mean, I'm looking around because I went about 1/10 of a mile that direction, and it's even wetter that way. Looks like there's actually some streams over there. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get a fire done really easily tonight. Sad thing is, more than likely I could probably find a site very close to this lake if I went that direction, because the lake is wide open. It's full all the way down. I mean, I can even see the dam from here. In retrospect, I wish I'd have went south yesterday and camped over there. I think it would have been a much more enjoyable night, definitely a more enjoyable morning to wake up with this view. So, definitely if you come in a dry season and you want to just kind of do an in and out and you're going to do the Wolf Creek Trail, go south and find you a spot down there. Don't go north, because it's just not as a pretty environment. I mean, this is beautiful right through here. There's actually a couple of guys out there fishing. Try to see if I see any other boats anywhere. Might be one way down there, it looks like. But yeah, definitely guys, I kind of regret going north and not south, because I really did plan for this just to be an overnight trip. I do have the option for a second night, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna head home, unfortunately, guys. Got stuff to do. But now we've got this big incline up to the top of that ridge up there, and then we'll gradually, slowly come down to the car from there. But yeah, it's still so tempting. Kind of wish there was a site right here. Of course, there's no water right here, but that creek right over there isn't too far. But unfortunately, probably the nearest site would probably be a half mile, and I can't even guarantee that. So that's another thing too. Even if I did stay tonight, I do have to be out really early tomorrow. That's another thing I have to factor in, because of doctor's appointments and stuff later in the day. And it is a 2-hour drive. So, I mean, if I'm 4 miles that way and still have the 2 miles on this, I just don't, I can't take a chance really. Some of the information I read where, oh, there's a site literally a half mile in. I was looking as I come back out just to see if maybe I missed it. I never did see anything. I mean, there's plenty of places you could make a site, but literally to get down to water where it's so dry on that side, it wouldn't be very conducive. So we're gonna start up this right here, guys. Gotta go all the way to the top. Kind of reminds me of hiking in at Zaleski, from the Hook Schoolhouse Road entrance. Not quite as bad. They do switch back it a little bit better, but yeah. It's very similar, and I believe it's almost the exact same elevation gain too, so it's kind of interesting. But for now, goodbye Brookville Lake. I made it up that incline, saw the last view of Brookville Lake, and now I'm heading to the last part here of the Midway Trail. It's pretty easy going. Been a couple up and downs, but for the most part, straightforward trail. Yeah, just slowly making it out now. I haven't made it back to where I'm beside those cornfields, so I don't have far to go now at all. It's not gonna be too bad. Actually did that in pretty good time. We'll get a final total as I get to the car and such. Did about the miles I actually wanted to this trip in the end. I was thinking between 7 and 8. It's probably gonna be about 8.5. Because I did 4.2 yesterday, 4.2 or so today, back to the car. So probably between 8.4 and 8.5. Like I said, we'll get a total on that too. I've got all trails running, mapping my GPS tracks. But yeah, I like the area. That sign right there says I have about 0.9 miles, so probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes should be out. But as I was saying, it doesn't have all the views and such as some trails. The lake is kind of nice to see. It's pretty. But as a conditioning trip and being out somewhere new, yeah, I've kind of enjoyed it. It's not too bad at all. Like I said, I'm definitely probably gonna come back next spring as a conditioning trip and get out and get the blood flowing, getting ready for next year. Because even though I'm planning on doing some winter camping, it's not going to be going out and pounding out 8, 10, 12, 14 miles, whatever. It'll be a couple of miles in, getting set up, trying to stay warm through the night. More of a survival type situation. And that'll be kind of fun, something different. And kind of looking forward to that. You know, it kind of sucks in the winter. You don't have the daylight to do the long miles either. That's one reason I'm kind of looking to do more bushcraft survival, winter camping, snow camping, things like that. Because, I mean, the sun's going down even now, a little bit before 6. I mean, you're talking 5:30. You know, by the time you get to mid-December, there'll be nights it'll go down at 4:15 even, and not be coming up till 8. So you just really don't have as much time to hike without doing some night hiking. And in the winter, by the time the sun goes down, you're more worried about staying warm than night hiking. So, unfortunately, that's what I've got to look forward to over the next 4 or 5 months, which I don't mind. Like I said, I'm looking forward to doing some more of the bushcraft type stuff. But I will definitely be ready once spring gets out to hit up a trail and get 8-9 miles under my belt the first time. Kind of like we did at Germantown this year. That was pretty awesome. But definitely pretty forced right now. Sun is definitely high in the sky now. And sky's for the most part blue. I see a couple clouds here and there, but definitely a big difference from yesterday and today, and definitely last night. Because last night was a lot of rain. I was really not looking for that. In fact, I was hoping to be up around the fire till about 11. Like I said, I ended up in the tent a little bit before 9, or a little after 9 actually, and asleep before 10 probably. I think I saw 10 o'clock, so probably 10:15. That's a little early for me, but still a good night, good trip, good overnight trip, real fun. Had a blast. Like I said, I'll be back. So I finished up the hike, come out the trailhead. Do want to show you this real quick before I leave and before we end the video. This, of course, is the Neal Road trailhead. You do have this sign here. This is where the Midway trail starts. When I first came here, I didn't notice, and I actually went out this direction. This is private property. If you go about 1/10 of a mile this way, it actually empties into cornfields. That's kind of how I knew. I was like, no, that's not exactly right. The trail actually starts right here, just on the side, and heads out into the woods that direction. So that way you guys know, if you ever do come out here, where the trail starts here at the Midway Trail entrance. Because like I said, I mean, I just come up and, you know, it was cloudy. I wasn't really paying attention. I took off. Wrong way, guys. But anyway, so that was a pretty good trip. Other than the rain, had a good time last night. Slept decent. Really good hike out. Nice, beautiful weather. A little cool. That breeze coming in from the north still. It's really a cool breeze. Kind of wish I could have stayed the second night, but duty calls at home, responsibilities. You know how it goes. Going forward, you know, some of those responsibilities may let up a little bit, and I might be able to get out more often. Not so much more often, but more nights, because I can get these overnighters pretty often, and they're not too bad. It's doing 2 or 3 or 4 nights, and I'm really looking forward to trying to get a couple of those in. Of course, with Zaleski, you know, that was kind of unfortunate the way that fell out, but anyway, things happen, guys. Well, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and make the hour and 50-minute trip back out to the northeast. Get out of Indiana, get back into Ohio. Might stop and grab a burger or a chicken sandwich. I'm not sure what I'm in the mood for right now. Kind of hungry. The oatmeal and beef stick did last just till I got here. I was starting to feel my calories go in the last 1/10 of a mile there. I knocked out that last mile in about 15 minutes, but it was all flat. You know, no inclinations or declinations. It's really easy till you get to that ridge and you start descending down into the lake. So guys, if you like this video, make sure you check out the rest of the content on the channel. I have tons of videos for you. Also, if you did like it, please subscribe. It definitely helps me out. Like, share, comment. hit the notification button. That way you get notified of when I do have a new video go up. Normally it's every week on Saturday. Not always, but most of the time. And we'll definitely get another video up for you very soon. Another trip out for you guys. Always remember, live your grand adventure to the fullest. I'll see you in the next video on the trail, guys. Take care.